Hey there, my friend. I'm really glad you're here with me today. You know, sometimes we carry questions deep in our hearts for years. Questions about our bodies, our energy, our connection, and what it really means to feel alive again. And often we're too embarrassed to ask, or we think, maybe it's too late for me. But the truth is, it's never too late to rediscover something powerful inside of us. Especially when it comes to how we experience pleasure, healing, and emotional closeness. Now, you might be thinking, why even bring up something like female orgasm at our age? Isn't that something that belongs in younger years? But what if I told you that science has quietly been confirming something really special? That orgasms for women aren't just about intimacy or connection. They're also a profound source of healing. Physical, emotional, even spiritual. Let me ask you something gently. Have you noticed how often we push our own needs to the side, especially as we grow older? Maybe we've spent decades caring for others, working hard, keeping everything together. But in that process, many women and even many couples quietly forget what it feels like to be fully alive in their bodies, to truly feel that spark again. And when that happens, it's not just about what we miss in the bedroom, it's what we miss in our energy, our confidence, our sleep, our joy. But here's where things get interesting. Research, yes, real research, has shown that for women, orgasm can be a natural, powerful way to stimulate the release of chemicals like oxytocin and dopamine. These aren't just feel-good chemicals. They help regulate stress, boost immunity, and even ease chronic pain. Think about that for a second. Something that society once taught us to hide, hush, or be ashamed of is actually something our bodies are biologically wired to benefit from. And yet, how many women reach their 50s, 60s, or even 70s without ever being truly taught how important this is, not just physically but emotionally? And if you're a man watching this, maybe you've noticed it too. That quiet shift in your partner. Maybe she's been more tired, more distant, or less interested in connection. It's not a lack of love. It's often just years of emotional shutdown, unspoken pressure, or simply not knowing that there's a path back to feeling, real warmth, and real healing. Let's be honest, many of us come from generations where pleasure wasn't talked about, where our mothers never taught us this and our doctors never asked. But now, with decades of wisdom under our belts, we can finally stop and ask ourselves, what if there's more? What if healing at this stage of life includes reconnecting with that sacred part of ourselves that was never broken, only buried under years of silence? There's a study published by Rutgers University, led by neuroscientist Barry Komisaruk, that found something remarkable. When a woman experiences orgasm, nearly 30 different parts of her brain light up. That includes areas linked to emotion, reasoning, memory, and even pain control. So this isn't just about momentary pleasure. It's about restoring clarity, vitality, and balance. It's about giving the body what it was designed to receive, naturally, lovingly, and without guilt. But I want to pause here and say something important. This isn't about performance. This isn't about turning sex into another task to check off the list. It's not about comparing yourself to anyone. It's about slowing down, tuning in, and allowing your body and your heart to reconnect at a pace that feels respectful, kind, and real. And that healing doesn't have to come from a partner. Many women find renewal through self-exploration, through touch that's not hurried, through breath, and even through mindful stillness. This isn't about rushing toward orgasm. It's about what happens when you give yourself permission to feel again. Sometimes the path to healing starts with one quiet moment, one gentle breath, and one act of self-care that tells your body, I matter. So once we begin tuning into our emotional needs, something interesting starts to shift. The body listens, the heart opens, and that lingering tension, that weight we didn't even realize we were carrying, starts to lift. Because pleasure, when rooted in kindness and respect, has the power to release the pain we've held onto for far too long. And from that place, something deeper begins to awaken. Not just desire, but vitality. Not just touch, but trust. In ourselves. In our bodies. In the belief that no matter our age, we're still worthy of feeling good. Of sleeping better. Of laughing more. Of being present in our skin without shame or apology. Let me know when you're ready for part 2, and I'll continue the script seamlessly, diving deeper into the end. And when that sense of clarity begins to grow, the next shift becomes even more natural. It's not just about what we feel in those few minutes of pleasure, it's about what happens afterward. The peace that lingers, The way our shoulders feel a little lighter. The way sleep comes more easily. The way we walk through our day with just a little more ease, like the world isn't weighing quite as heavily on us anymore. You see, the benefits don't stop with brain chemistry or momentary release. For many women, orgasm is deeply connected to their sense of safety and emotional trust. And when that trust is rebuilt, even slowly over time, it creates space for joy to return. Not the loud, performative kind. The quiet kind. The kind you feel when your heart relaxes. When you stop carrying the guilt of the past. When your body no longer feels like a stranger. In fact, some researchers suggest that regular, pleasurable release can help lower cortisol levels in the body, the very hormone that's tied to stress, inflammation, weight gain, even heart health. Think about that. So many of us spend years treating our stress with pills, distractions, overwork. But our bodies already know how to calm themselves, if we listen, if we allow, if we soften into the moment without shame. And maybe it's not even about orgasm at first. Maybe it's simply about giving yourself permission to feel again, to enjoy your own skin, to light a candle, breathe deeply, and remember that you are more than your role, your title, your history. You are still here. And you are still capable of intimacy, with yourself, and with someone who honors the person you are now. Some women have said that rediscovering pleasure in their later years brought back a part of themselves they thought was gone forever. That it helped them reconnect with old dreams, with long-lost confidence, with a forgotten sparkle in their eyes. It wasn't about turning back the clock. It was about finally stepping fully into the present, with gentleness and grace. And for the couples watching, this is a beautiful place to begin again. Not with pressure, not with expectations, but with curiosity. Maybe you sit with each other, fully clothed, and just hold hands. Maybe you talk honestly for the first time in years about what it really means to feel desired, not just physically but emotionally. That kind of connection, it changes everything. When a woman feels emotionally safe and physically respected, her entire nervous system relaxes. That's when arousal becomes effortless, not forced. That's when laughter bubbles up mid-kiss. That's when time seems to slow down, and not because you're trying to perform, but because you're fully present. That kind of intimacy has the power to heal more than words ever could. And this isn't wishful thinking. In a 2010 review published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, researchers found a strong link between sexual satisfaction in older women and overall quality of life, including mental sharpness, relationship satisfaction, and physical health. The key wasn't frequency. It was fulfillment, connection, meaning. That's what made the difference. So if you've ever felt like that part of you had quietly shut down, maybe it's not gone. Maybe it's just been waiting for you to return home to yourself. Without fear, without embarrassment, without needing to be anything but exactly who you are right now. And maybe you've carried wounds. Maybe your body's changed, or you've been through grief or betrayal or long years of emotional distance. That's okay. Healing isn't linear. Sometimes the smallest steps forward are the most powerful. A hand over your heart, a breath into your belly, a word of kindness whispered just for you. Because when you begin to honor your body again, you stop punishing yourself for being human. And when you stop punishing yourself, you start living again. Not out of obligation, but out of truth, out of joy, out of the quiet confidence that says, I deserve to feel alive again. And as that inner spark begins to glow, so many other things begin to change. Your posture, your voice, the way you look at your reflection, the way you speak to the people you love. You're no longer just surviving. You're participating. You're co-creating joy with your body and your breath. That's the beauty of this stage in life. We're no longer bound by the noise of youth. We have space now. We have time. We have wisdom. And most of all, we have the right to choose softness over stress, connection over chaos, presence over pressure. And when you start to choose those things, again and again, even in tiny ways, something deep inside begins to trust you. Your nervous system begins to trust you. Your heart begins to trust that it's safe to open. And when that trust becomes your new normal, everything else begins to feel possible again. And when that trust becomes your new normal, something else begins to unfold. Something quiet but powerful. You begin to see your own body not as something broken or past its prime, but as something sacred, something worthy, something still capable of joy, comfort, and intimacy in the most human way. And that's when the final shift begins to take root. It's not about chasing pleasure, it's about reclaiming peace. When a woman experiences an orgasm that comes from emotional safety, from true connection, from self-acceptance, her whole body responds in ways that go far beyond the physical. Her mood lifts, her muscles loosen, her breathing deepens, her heart feels seen. And it's not just a release, it's a return to herself. Because here's what doesn't get talked about enough. The orgasm is not just a private moment. It's a mirror. It reflects how well we are taking care of ourselves, how much we've learned to listen to our inner world, how deeply we are willing to love and nurture the very body that's carried us through so much. And when we nurture that body, it begins to heal. Researchers from the University of Michigan found that older women who reported more frequent feelings of sexual fulfillment also showed better cardiovascular health, better sleep patterns, and higher resilience against depression. Now think about that for a moment, not because it's a statistic, but because it's a truth we already know deep down. When we feel loved and cared for, especially by ourselves, our bodies come alive in ways that no pill can replicate. That's what healing looks like. Not just the absence of pain, but the presence of vitality. So if you've been holding on to shame, if you've been feeling disconnected, alone, or even afraid to explore this part of yourself again, please let those fears melt a little today. There is nothing shameful about seeking wholeness. There is nothing dirty about pleasure that comes from a place of love. Whether you are in a long-term relationship, starting fresh, or simply spending more time with yourself, you deserve to feel connected. You deserve to feel warmth. You deserve to feel good again. And let me be clear, this is not about being perfect. It's not about performing. It's not about reaching some goal. It's about listening, trusting, breathing, allowing. The beauty of being where you are as you are in this very moment. Because if there's one thing I hope you take from all this, it's that your story isn't finished. Your body isn't done giving you life. Your soul isn't done seeking joy. And the gentle journey of rediscovering pleasure, whatever that looks like for you, can be one of the most healing chapters yet. You're not alone in this. There are thousands of women and couples out there quietly beginning again, finding their rhythm, finding peace, and learning that there's no expiration date on intimacy. In fact, it often becomes more meaningful the older we get. Because it's no longer about impressing. It's about connecting. It's about being seen and held for who we really are. And to the men listening, your presence matters too. Your gentleness, your patience, your willingness to meet her where she is, not where the world told you she should be. That kind of presence creates safety, and safety creates space for healing. And that, my friend, is where true love lives. So, as we come to the close of this little journey together, I just want to leave you with this. Your body is not behind you. It is with you. Your desire is not lost. It is waiting. Your joy is not over. It is ready. And the love you've been longing for, whether from a partner or from within yourself, is still completely possible. So here's to honoring that. Here's to remembering your worth. Here's to touching your own heart again with kindness and letting your body respond in its own sacred, beautiful way. You have a life still full of potential. And the path to healing doesn't start with a map. It starts with a whisper, a touch, a breath. Yes, that's all for this video. You have a great time, friends.